The woman opens the door, only to find a wall has suddenly appeared behind it. Not only that, she realizes the windows have been sealed off by the same wall too. No matter how hard they slam into it, the wall doesn't budge an inch. Worse still, the phone signal and Wi-Fi are completely gone. Then Jim notices that whenever his phone gets close to the wall, the screen starts glitching. Amy reaches out and touches the smooth, ice-cold surface. She immediately rules it out. This isn't carbon fiber, and it's not liquid granite either. Amy grabs a power drill and aims it at the wall, trying to break through. But the drill bit just scrapes across the surface, leaving not even a scratch. Unwilling to give up, Jim turns to the side wall only to find the entire stairwell has been sealed off by this high-tech material. Just as despair sets in, they hear faint tapping and voices coming from next door. Amy gets an idea. She lifts the drill and aims it at the wall between them and the neighbors. Moments later, she finally breaks through, making a small hole. To their surprise, this wall isn't the same high-tech material at all, it's just ordinary brick. Turns out, only the building's outer structure is sealed by the high-tech walls. The walls between neighbors are still completely normal. Through the hole, they learn that the people next door are trapped too, surrounded by the same black walls. They're also trying to figure out if anything strange happened the night before, but no one has a clue. When everyone woke up, the wall was already there. No noise, no signs of construction, like it just materialized out of thin air overnight, turning every room into an isolated cage. Jim turns on the faucet, not a single drop comes out. He tries to stay rational, comparing their situation to a game. He figures if they can just find the right solution, they can escape. Amy shoots back coldly, this isn't one of his stupid video games. His emotions start slipping, his voice tinged with despair. The tension between them rises fast in the cramped space, the air thick with arguing, until even breathing feels suffocating. Finally, Amy storms out of the room. Once Jim calms down, he notices an unusually strong magnetic field in one spot on the wall. He starts experimenting with nearby objects, hoping to trigger some kind of mechanism. Amy comes back, drawn in by what he's doing, and the two start testing together. Soon, Amy discovers 4 points on the wall where the magnetic field is strongest, forming a square pattern. Jim says maybe there's a way to interact with this wall.
Was machst du?
Ich versuche mit ihr zu interagieren.
The wall reacts, but Jim immediately senses something's wrong and shouts at Amy to get down. The room falls into eerie silence again. Jim and Amy exchange cautious glances, still trying to catch their breath. Just then, a violent commotion and screams erupt from next door. Amy grabs the drill and starts cutting through the neighbor's wall. Once they break through a large hole, they crawl inside only to find the place in chaos, a woman lying on the floor. The two help her up, but a panicked stranger lunges at Jim, shouting. Amy fights him off with pepper spray. But then the woman jumps in front of him, crying out that this wasn't an attack, it was a misunderstanding. Apparently, they'd accidentally hit each other while trying to break through the wall. She introduces herself as Anna, and the man is her fiancé Marvin. They were supposed to get married next year, and now they're trapped inside this sealed building. Jim and Amy head over to their storage room, hoping to find any tool or clue that could break through the high-tech wall. Jim digs out an axe, but a few swings later, the wall is still untouched. That's when Amy floats a possible escape plan: get through the floor to the level below, then down to the basement. She recalls the building's history, built in 1897, with bomb shelters added during World War II, and those shelters sometimes connected to the city's subway system. A spark of hope lights up in everyone. They decide to try this route. Jim and Amy manage to smash through the floor, and Jim lowers himself down on a rope. But the moment he lands, an old man appears with a gun, snapping at them to get back up. Jim tries to explain they're not after his supplies, they're just looking for a way down to the basement. But the old man doesn't budge. He clearly trusts no one, convinced that trapped people will eventually kill each other over a sip of water. Just as things are about to boil over, a young girl named Leah steps out and talks the old man down. She reminds her grandfather that these people are neighbors, not enemies. Leah's persistence finally breaks through the old man's defenses. Together, they take turns hammering through the floor. Leah recalls getting up at 4 a.m. to use the bathroom, and by then, the world outside had already changed completely. The high-tech walls had appeared out of nowhere, sealing the entire building. No sound, no warning. It just happened, like reality itself had been rewritten. Then Jim notices that one of the smoke detectors that fell from the ceiling actually has a hidden camera inside. He asks if they installed it themselves, but the old man shakes his head. Jim suspects the landlord planted them. He removes another detector from the kitchen. Sure enough, there's a camera inside too. The suspicions ramp up fast. Together, they smash through the wall, ready to confront the landlord hiding behind it. But when they break through into the landlord's apartment, a sickening stench hits them. The landlord's body is sitting on the floor, long gone stiff. But what's even more chilling, both of his hands have been severed at the wrists, the blood long since dried. Amy's breathing turns rapid, her eyes glazing over as panic explodes in her chest. Jim quickly steadies her, forcing her to slow her breathing. Marvin, meanwhile, completely loses it and keeps pounding away at the floor. Once she calms down, Amy wonders aloud if this might be connected to the fire at Hamburg's Port City.
Tim, was ist, wenn der Großbrand in der Hafencity was damit zu tun hat?
Das ist doch viel zu weit weg.
At that moment, Marvin breaks through the floor, and the group drops down. A stranger emerges from the room. He claims to be a close friend of Anton, just visiting for a few days. Jim explains their plan to dig through to the bomb shelter and escape. Yuri shakes his head and scoffs. He tells them the port fire caused massive contamination, and these black walls are top-of-the-line protective barriers designed to block out lethal toxic gas. The high-tech material can withstand virtually any attack. He says the world outside is already an apocalyptic wasteland. The group is stunned by his doomsday speech. Amy remains skeptical, pressing him about where Anton is. Then they see Anton's body. Yuri claims Anton died accidentally, that the strong magnetic field stopped his pacemaker. On one side, unknown dangers outside. On the other, hopeless entrapment. Everyone is torn. But Amy can't shake the feeling that something is off about Yuri. She insists on breaking through the wall to find a way out. After some debate, everyone agrees to follow Amy and try to escape together. They quickly break through to the basement and find the door leading to the bomb shelter. But when they push it open, what they see crushes every ounce of hope. Marvin loses it and starts wildly smashing the wall with a sledgehammer. Jim rushes to stop him, terrified he'll destroy their only tools. But Marvin's beyond reasoning, he fires a gun at the wall.
Fick diese verdammte, dreckige, lass uns Stück Scheiß, Mann!
The bullet freezes in midair, about 2 centimeters from the surface, then starts spinning at high speed. Suddenly, it ricochets back and the old man, too slow to react, is hit and killed instantly. That's when they realize this black wall doesn't just block attacks, it strikes back with deadly precision. The danger is beyond anything they imagined. Hit by one disaster after another, everyone falls into despair. Only Yuri wears a strange, unsettling smile. After the initial shock, Jim pulls himself together. He decides to head back to the landlord's apartment and search for clues. Amy and Leah find something in the notes. Anton had also marked those 4 high-magnetism square wall panels, along with cryptic annotations. When Yuri sees them studying the notes, his expression suddenly turns anxious. Then they find Anton's business card. He worked for a nanotech protection company. They also find a pile of destroyed electronics. Yuri quickly explains Anton smashed them in a fit of frustration after realizing he couldn't crack the wall secret. Amy starts digging through the notes in the trash can. A strange look crosses Yuri's face. Clearly, he's worried about something. And sure enough, Leah finds a clue, what looks like a code written in the notes. Suddenly, Yuri bursts out laughing. He says the moment they open the wall, lethal radiation will pour in. Just then, Anna walks in.
Hey, komm mal mit hoch. Wir haben was gefunden.
Jim and the others discover a hidden room inside the landlord's apartment. The room is filled with live surveillance feeds of every tenant in the building, confirming the landlord had been secretly watching everyone. They pull up the recordings and discover the black wall appeared instantly, with zero warning. Completely surreal. When they check the footage from Anton's room, they witness the whole story of his death. And it exposes Yuri's lie on the spot. Marvin grabs a knife and goes after him. Jim keeps watching the footage. He sees Anton approach the window, a few flashes of white light, and the entire room suddenly lights up. That's when Jim gets it. Anton had opened the black wall. The light in the room was sunlight from outside. Then on the footage, Yuri storms in, drags Anton away, and strangles him to death. Realizing the danger, Jim grabs the gun and rushes downstairs. Marvin has already found Yuri, who's busy destroying all of Anton's notes, and Leah is lying next to him, already dead by Yuri's hand. Turns out, Leah had figured out Anton was murdered, and Yuri silenced her.
Bist du krank, Mann? Du hast sie umgebracht! Die Wand ist hier, um uns zu beschützen. Und wenn ihr das nicht verstehen wollt, dann sorge ich dafür, dass sie das auch tut. Hey! Hey, lass sie los! Okay?
Even the two of them together can't take him down. At the critical moment, Marvin lands a kick on Yuri and grabs the gun off the floor, finally regaining control. They don't kill Yuri though, he's the only one who knows the wall's secret and how to open the barrier, but he refuses to say a word. He just keeps insisting the world has already ended, and there's a new order now. The group keeps poring over the notes. Amy guesses the code must be tied to the wall and that the strange symbols might be Morse code, just way more complex. But Anton definitely cracked it. Just then, Anna notices something Anton did before he died. He spent the whole night coding, and even installed a special program on his phone. He used it to repeatedly scan the black wall, and eventually managed to open it. That's when Yuri killed him and snapped his phone in half.
Brauchen sein Handy.
Jim immediately installs the same program on his own phone. Now they have the key in the door, but they still need to find the lock. The key to unlocking the wall has to be tied to those 4 special wall panels. Jim remembers the black wall opened with a series of white flashes.
Licht! Licht ist eine elektromagnetische Welle.
The wall must need a specific light frequency to unlock. They scan the wall with the modified phone, and the program pinpoints the 4 panels precisely.
Drück mal.
Jim presses the first one, the light flashes a few times. He presses the second, more flashes. One by one, they press each panel, trying to crack the code. The black wall slowly begins to liquefy. Anna carefully touches it with one finger. It feels warm. She slides her whole hand in. She says she can feel something moving inside. Then everything goes wrong.
Sie steckt fest!
Hilf mir mal! Komm!
No matter how hard they pull, they can't free her. The liquefied wall has a tight grip on Anna. The wall snaps back to solid in an instant. And then comes Anna's blood-curdling scream. After all these devastating losses, Marvin breaks down completely. Of the group that set out together, only Jim and Amy are left, but they don't give up. They watch the footage of Anton opening the wall over and over. After testing the flash sequences for different button orders on the 4 panels, they finally figure out the correct code. At last, the two of them help each other through the underground passage. When they reach the surface, they finally see the full picture. The entire city is wrapped in towering black walls. The streets are completely empty, dead silent. No signs of war, just lifeless stillness. In a daze, they get into their car, and that's when they hear it. Hope, born from the depths of despair.
Soeben bestätigt wurde, löste der Brand bei Epsilon Nanodefense eine schwerwiegende Fehlfunktion aus, die ein geheimes Verteidigungssystem aktiviert.
A terrifying, life-or-death ordeal, and in the end, it was all just an absurd system glitch. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching, see you next time.